I am Erik Soell. I work at the Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis. And I do need to say these views are mine, not necessarily those of the Federal Reserve. I'm a director in a rapid communications team. This was a team that did not exist 6 years ago. As John said, I was an instructional designer. I was an okay instructional designer. I'm sure any of you that are in the room far surpass anything I ever did or could do. We're going to do some interactive stuff here. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. This is our pop quiz part. True or false, the Federal Reserve produces both coin and paper currency. Is that true? If you think it's true, hands up. False, hands up. False is accurate. The Fed does not produce that. The U.S. Mint actually creates money, but the Fed distributes that. So if you pull out a dollar bill, it'll say Federal Reserve on the top. And as John said, all of that money comes through the Federal Reserve banks. There's 12 reserve banks in the country. The nearest one here would be in Dallas. And all that currency comes through your local regional reserve bank, and it's distributed out to all the banks in the country. Okay, so let me level set a few things about what the Fed does. Certainly maybe before the financial crisis, I think the Federal Reserve is sort of a mysterious organization. Maybe even at this point, I think some people think it's a fine organization, some people think it's not so fine organization. My purpose here is not to convince you either way, but just to explain what the Fed does and what we're responsible for. So 4 major things. Influence the supply of money and credit. That's really what the FOMC does. This is the market committee where they raise or drop interest rates. You guys are familiar with that concept. That's that first charge there. Respond to financial panics. We certainly had one recently, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit about some of the things that we did. The third one, though, is we do regulate financial institutions. So the banks that you and I go to, we actually have bank examiners that go out to those institutions, and they go in for a few days, and they say, all right, let's take a look at your books. Are you doing things legally? Is there any fraud going on? What about your cyber security approaches? Are you ready on that? And so we have about 4,000 bank examiners inside the Fed that go out throughout the country and do that. And then we do serve as a fiscal agent for the U.S. government. So a lot of payments that go to the Treasury, that's sort of circulated through the Federal Reserve.